Hello, welcome back. In this class, we are going to look at identifying strategies through participating and learning, or actually identifying strategies. So, you want to make a participation of the entire team, the project team, the monitoring team, from contextual literature review, from stakeholders analysis. You come up with the risk. So it is important to make it participatory on, on all of your participants or the partners in the project, because different perspective will give you different views that you're going to implement in your risk mitigation. Conduct learning session with the relevant stakeholders to identify and evaluate risks, and document and share plans and share contingency plans with the stakeholders and discuss lesson learned. So try to conduct research, conduct learning process. Of course, we have looked at our learning process in the last module. So document and share the plans and share contingency plans if the risks happens. All right, so let's look at the steps in mitigating risk. So what are a few steps in mitigating risks strategies? So we are going to have risk identification. So the first thing is the risk identification. Identify risk associated with the project implementation. What are the potential risks? All right, and then also go back to your decision tree and analyze, evaluate if this risk has water. Right? Risk evaluation. Assess and agree on the features of the risk event, the likelihood of this risk will happen, the impact, and the ability of the control. Can we control it 100%? Can we control it partially? Can we control it? Is it completely out of control? What is the likelihood of that risk will occur? And then what the impact will it bring in delivering and implementing our project? What measures can we put in place to mitigate the impact of those risks? So that is risk evaluation. Risk treatment. So in strategies to mitigate risk or identifying risk, we are going to have risk treatment. Identify tools and budget needed to address this risk. Do we have resources at our disposal to handle this risk? Who would lead the coordination of our response to the risk? Would we need to hire an external firm, maybe insurances or consultant, to help us to deal with these risks? What would be the cost implications of this risk? Who would we need to inform if this risk became a reality? So that is risk treatment. And then we have risk monitoring, just like the result monitoring. Monitor and manage the factors contributing to this risk. Some risks are due to some factors. For example, if you are looking at maybe you're having a project in communities with animosities, the monitoring one of the indicator is maybe some livestock are lost, and people are doubting that they have been stolen. So now what would be in that case, there is chance that there will be a war or maybe a fight between the neighboring communities. What are some indicators we can track that would help monitor this risk? So when you find something like that, maybe you think that there is a high chance of this risk occurring, what are the sources of this information? So where do you get the information? Like some communities have lost their livestock, so there is a high chance of deterioration. Where do you get this information, for example? Risk handling. So you have to, of course, have a contingency plan. Develop a specific contingency plan and budget that resolve and mitigate these risks. What would be contingencies to be put in place. In a nutshell, it is important that the project design team identifies risk and assumptions for each output, outcome, and impact in the project. Systematic documentation of this risk and assumption is an important step in proposal design phase to communicate to the client how we understand the context, potential challenges, and plan for adjustments. It is also good project management and necessary for high quality project implementation. This brings us to the end of our section for risk and assumptions. You are going to have your assessment at the end of this section. In our next section, we are going to look at gender integration in project. Thank you and enjoy learning.